I find myself these days playing on repeat on my playlist Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. Yeah. Because what is going on? That we find ourselves already in the midst of a public health crisis, and we have another one on the horizon that is 100% preventable. Yep. And we have to fight and organize and mobilize this hard. What is going on? The extremism of this court has proven that they are not on the side of the people, and in fact, they are the absence of justice when it comes to voting rights, when it comes to reproductive freedom, and when it comes to housing rights. And that is exactly why Congress must act. Led by my sister in service, Representative Bush, who I believe models my practice of the people closest to the pain, should be closest to the power, driving and informing the policymaking. We are all better for her service, and led by her, we chose to sleep on the steps of the Capitol. That was a choice. But millions more are running out of options, and it will not be a choice. But this is 100% preventable because eviction is a policy choice. So I want to thank Representative Bush for her leadership and Senator Warren for your steadfast partnership, for gathering us here all today. It is a pleasure to stand with you today and introduce this life-saving legislation, the Keeping Renters Safe Act. New cases of COVID-19 are continuing to rise in my home state of Massachusetts. The truth is, this pandemic is far from over. I cannot believe my colleagues and I just last week were in an oversight hearing. Representative Ocasio-Cortez and Tlaib and one of our colleagues across the aisle said, the pandemic is virtually over. It is far from over. And we still need measures to keep safe our families and our communities. Eviction puts folks in harm's way, plain and simple. And as a result of eviction, many families are forced to move into crowded hotels or shelters or onto their neighbor's couch where they are no longer able to socially distance. We know that when 27 states lifted their eviction moratoriums during the pandemic, it led to 433,000 preventable cases of COVID-19 and more than 10,000 preventable deaths due to COVID-19. When I say eviction is a policy choice, it's not just a catchy turn of phrase. We have lost more than 10,000 people that could be with us only if they had remained safely housed. Our loved ones, our neighbors, our friends. That ain't right. Renters, it ain't right. And renters don't deserve less just because they can't afford more. This is not something abstract for me. I know the trauma of coming home to an eviction notice on the door when I was a child. And if you have never had to face the threat of eviction, if you've never been on the verge of losing your home, take my word for it. It is a fate, a fear, and a dehumanization that you do not wish on anyone, especially not during a pandemic. What's going on? Since last year, we've been calling on every level of government to step in and protect renters from evictions. Today, we are once again advancing the fight for a life-saving eviction moratorium, which is grounded in public health and a matter of racial and economic justice. Evictions are disruptive and violent events that not only destabilize families, but make it harder to rent housing, safe housing in the future, to apply for credit, to borrow money, or to purchase a home. This eviction crisis is exacerbating economic injustice for Black families across America. Currently, almost a third of Black renters are at risk of eviction. Nearly 600,000 seniors and nearly 20% of senior renters who are people of color are behind on rent and at risk of evictions. We need Congress to act. We can prevent millions of families from being thrown out onto the street and torn from their homes where they made their memories. Our constituents are looking to Congress, both chambers, controlled by Democrats, to stand in the gap and to intervene. Some members may think that we pass rental assistance, so our job is done. Many of us here have led and championed those efforts, and they are meaningful. But without an eviction moratorium in place, while the rental relief is still getting out the door, our work is not done. We will have a homelessness crisis in this country. A national tent city like we've never seen before. An eviction tsunami, one we will be recovering from for decades if we do not act. In this economic recovery, let's learn from our past mistakes and center the people. An estimated 750,000 renters could be evicted in the next few months. Democrats control the House, the Senate, and the White House. And being in the majority must mean more than a talking point. It's a decisive majority that has also given us a mandate to act on the interest of the people. We must make that majority actually mean something. So let's pass this bill before it's too late. And next, we will hear from my brother in service. The Commonwealth is representing large up here today. Is he here? Oh, there you go. Okay, and so now we'll bring to the podium Senator Ed Markey.